welcome to the show, Estelle. How's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, very good. So you have a new album out at the moment. It's called Lovers Rock. What can you tell us about it?
It's my fifth album. It's an homage kind of to my parents and their love story. Essentially, it's a tale of just how you can be in love, how you can want love, how you can be in love and find love on your terms and not have to settle. So I'm excited about it. It took me a while to kind of get here as a human. So I'm excited that I have it and have it to put up and put out. So, I hope people love it. I hope people get it.
I'm sure we will. So how long did it take you to put the album together?
Oh, it took me total and up until release about 5 years. I actually started recording it off of my last album when I was doing my album True Romance, and I had the song Conqueror off of. We actually started recording it around then because we have records that started to feel so good in that space that we kind of just wanted to continue it. So, it's kind of on the back burner and it made its way to the front, essentially. It's just kind of just in time also for, what's going on now in current music, which is kind of cool. But, I had to live it. I had to go through it. I had to do the conversations and, really live a bit of a life before I wrote it. That's kind of the point of all my records, is to live it and kind of talk about how you do that.
And have you always been a fan of reggae music?
Yeah, I've lived it my whole life. This is Lovers Rock. I was born in the middle of it in the UK in 1980, which was kind of when it all started. So, yeah, my whole life has been surrounded by reggae music, dancehall, African music, soca music, and to me it's all one genre. It's just they're all cousins, And so, it's kind of been part of my whole entire upbringing. And then, just as far as the actual music, I've had family in the business and that knew and that were very into the scene and very in the scene, in the 80s. So it's kind of, it's a cool kind of like a touchback to that part that people don't really know about me. That people get to see and they get to understand and see and feel anew,
Was it an easy transition from what you were singing before to singing reggae?
No, not really. I've always taken it from this standpoint. Anything that ever got mixed, anything that got put up and out in the world came from a reggae standpoint. So you're listening to a bass line that I knew how to get the best out of the bass line because I knew Dennis Brown, because I knew, Freddie McGregor, because I knew Bob Marley. Those kinds of records were the ones that were playing in my head when I'm here in a mix session and I'm, telling the bass player, play like this, or, we're on stage and I'm like, go in this direction. They're listening to it from my ear, which in my ear comes from listening to that. So not new, not at all. Just a continuation, a bit more focused this time around, that's all.
Great. Who did you work with on the album?
Oh, goodness. Super Dopes was one of the main producers on the album. I worked with a lot of people that I've worked with before because they all know that this has been coming kind of thing. So I kind of went back to my guys who were the plug as far as kind of supplying me with reggae beats and then giving me the other stuff too to kind of put up. So Super Dupes was one, Dre Harris was another, a guy called Hard Work. Feature-wise, Chronix, Conscience, Luke James, Malik Berry, Tarish Riley, Alakai Harley, Nick and Navy, who was signed to my label, established 98, and Hood Celebrity. I feel like I'm missing one or two, but those are the guys. It's a love story album, so I did a lot of between my parents. So I did a lot of male-female combos kind of thing. So it feels good.
Fantastic. Yeah, you've mentioned some brilliant artists there.
Thank you.
Must have been great to work with them.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of fun, and everyone kind of came through when I called. It wasn't like a high thing. The only person that was already just kind of there and it kind of manifested itself into happening was Tarish Riley. I'd literally been listening to his records a few days before, and then he happened to be in the studio, same studio as I was, and came into my session. I was like, they were like, you want to work with him? I was like, oh, absolutely. And he kind of, he came up with the idea for Love Like Ours, and I was like, this is perfect and right along the lines of what I'm trying to wrap the album up about. Interestingly, became the first of all the new sessions that I did in the past 2 years, to make the album. So it was kind of cool. Very good direction.
Yeah, because you did Love Like Ours, didn't you, with Terrace Riley?
Yeah, and that was the very first record off of the album.
Yeah, I enjoyed that one. That was great. I saw Terrace perform about 5 years ago. This was at Kentish Town, and the song that everybody loved more than anything was She's Royal. You know that song?
She's Royal. Yeah.
Classic.
It came out around the same time as I had American Boy. So, that's like he's like my family's new favorite reggae singer, my granddad likes him kind of thing, and my aunties like him, and so it's kind of really cool. They were like, oh my goodness, you did a record with him. They had a whole moment. They still can't believe it, but it's very, very cool. Like, we all love him, so it's very, it's very nice. But he's also a brilliant singer and a general good guy, like a really good guy. So.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned American Boy. We're going to have to talk about that a little bit. How did that song first come about?
I was in Miami having a good time and living my life and experiencing life, and just it kind of became really apparent that there was a lot of like Spanish guys that I had never ever experienced, seen, knew about in Miami, and so it was kind of written from the perspective of like, oh my goodness, these boys are so beautiful and everyone's just here. There's so many varieties, and I was having a time in like 2005 in Miami. We literally went in the studio the next day and went and wrote the record because I was like, yo, John was talking to me. He was like, what do you want to write about? What are you going to? And I was like, why didn't anyone tell me there were this many pretty and amazingly beautiful men in Miami? What is happening? Like, and so that's what we wrote about. It was just fun, I think that's the intention that you take. It's just the intention that you take every single record from, and which I do. People are going to feel it. It's very real. It's not, it's not made up. It's kind of, no, this is what I was actually doing. I was having fun. It's literally what I was doing. I was out there on the beach.
So, and was you surprised at the time? I mean, it was a very big record, wasn't it? I mean, a very catchy song, and it did very well, didn't it?
It did. It still is. People play it and sing it as though it's the first time they've heard it. But I'm also quite grateful because, you pray for records like that. But my biggest thing is, like, I pray for records that kind of touch lives, move lives, and change lives. I never want to sing a record that's for the moment. I was wanting to be able to go back to it and, and vibes out and get into it like it's the first time you heard it, And that's literally what, I think we did with American Boy, which I'm grateful for,
And that song in 2009 won a Grammy in the category of Best Rap Song Collaboration, so there you go. I mean,
sure
it is a song that still gets played, isn't it?
Yeah, sure does. I'm quite grateful.
So going back to the reggae, on this album, you mentioned this is to do with your parents, isn't it? You were saying?
Yeah, it's their love story. It's kind of like a testament to love is going to be what it's going to be when it's going to be. Their whole story is they met, had me and two of my sisters, broke up, lived completely different lives, and then came back together and got married and, and continue to live and just be happy. Kind of iterating that, they were each other's first loves when they were children, kind of thing, when they were teenagers. And kind of just reiterating that you can find love and be in love, and, you don't have to sacrifice or it doesn't have to be so hard all the time. It can be really, really okay and really good, because they definitely, they were kind of meant to be. So, not kind of, they were meant to be. I wanted to kind of give honor to that and tell that story and give that energy, but also give people the energy of you can start again and you can be happy and you can be in love whenever you want to be, with who you want to be and in the way you want to be, because it is your love. That's kind of why Love Like Ours fits so perfectly, And
that must be a lovely thing to do, to honour your parents in this way.
Oh yeah, they're quite surprised. They were like, "Oh my goodness, you were really?" And I was like, "Yeah." Everything I am and everything I've been so far, is tied back to them and who they are and the way that they've conducted their lives for good and for bad. So it's been a release for the bad stuff, but also it's been a catalyst for the good stuff too,
Great. Well, we're now going to play your single that's out at the moment. It's called Better. What can you tell us about this song?
This one was essentially the reason why, the kind of first time they met. The entire album runs a span, so you start it off with So Easy and a record called So Easy, and that's kind of like a summation of the summation record. But Better is kind of like where they're the only two people in the room. Like, they both said to me separately that they felt like, like that magic that people talk about when they're like, "Oh, who's that?" They felt like that when they saw each other. And I was like, I know it's real. So I kind of wanted to capture that energy where it was just like beautiful and just singular, and just like, imagine if you're in a crowded room or it's a room full of just smoke, and you just felt like that was the person. You know, you just saw somebody and you were like, whew, that's the kind of energy I wanted to capture on this record, and I think we did it with the video too.
Wonderful. Well, we're going to hear that.
What that is about.
Is the new album Lovers Rock out yet?
It's out right now, yeah. Lovers Rock has been out since last week Friday, so make sure you get into it.
Yeah, we will. Thanks a lot for joining us on the show, Estelle.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
No problem.